As you know, neuroregression is a known feature in a good number of autism kids. And more often, it is seen with those kids who had a little delayed insult to a developing brain. Most of the autism kids will have issues related to autism due to genetic issues which are happening in the first trimester of the pregnancy. But those kids who had issues around birth, before birth, and those kids will have some issue by which they will develop neurorexia after the age of 18 to 24 months. It happens so that the connections are forming inside the brain since the formation of the brain. Till the birth, some connections are formed, and the newer connections are not formed after the birth. And in those cases where the newer connections are not formed after the birth, the likelihood that child will develop some milestones related to sensory maturation for first few months or a year of life, and after that, the connections which are required for the development are not enough to take the advanced load of learning language, learning people, learning dynamics of the day-to-day life, and then these connections start drying. And these connections start dying. And when the connections get broken, due to increased overload, increased learning overload, increased sensory overload, increased data overload, the connection disappears and the child's development appears to be regressed. The child who had learned 2 words may be not speaking another 6 months. Child who has learned to say hi and maybe learn to interact with the parent will not be able to interact so because the child has lost those connections. This loss of connections is synaptic cloning. And these connections are lost because they were initially at paucity, and when they get overloaded because normal load also could not be taken, and then the connections are lost. And this synaptic cloning is very, very important to understand in neuroregression. Now, once the child has lost the milestones of the social communication and language and understanding, the child behaves as if he has not learned all these things. So whatever he had achieved in the past doesn't matter. Now we really need to survive each and every dying connection. We really need to make new connections, and then only we can get the development back on the track in the form of socializations, emotions, communication and understanding.